All right, let's talk about something that feels like it's been ripped straight out of a sci-fi movie. Microchips that go inside your body. Today, we're going to go on a journey from the chips people are putting under their skin right now all the way to a wild new kind of tech that does its job and then just vanishes. Let's dive in.
So let me just ask you something right off the bat. Forget your phone, forget your wallet, forget digging around for your keys. What if the key to your house, to your car, heck, to your computer wasn't something you carried, but was literally part of you? It's a pretty wild thought, but for some people, the answer is already a definite yes. And this isn't some crazy what if scenario. This is a real quote from a guy named Amal Grafstra, a biohacker who decided to do this way back in 2005. For him and for a whole community of people now, this isn't about the future. It's about making life more convenient today. And that's really where our whole story begins.
So, how in the world did we get here? To really get a handle on where all this is headed, we've got to take a step back and see how putting tech inside our bodies went from being a bizarre experiment to, well, a daily reality for thousands of people.
You know, it really all started pretty small. Back in '98, a scientist used a simple RFID chip just to open doors and turn on lights in his lab. A few years later, in 2004, the tech behind things like Apple Pay gets standardized. Flash forward to 2018, and suddenly we have super secure implants made just for humans. And then you've got Neuralink showing off a brain-to-computer link in a pig. The pace of change here, it's just staggering. So, okay, besides just opening doors, what are people actually doing with these things? Well, the uses are surprisingly down to earth. The best way to think about it is like a super secure invisible pocket. People are using them as key cards, as digital business cards, even storing their crypto wallets on them or paying for coffee. It's all about replacing the junk we have to carry around with one simple little implant. But you knew this was coming, right? It's not all just cool tech and convenience. Like any really powerful technology, there is a serious debate to be had. And that brings us to the real heart of the issue. The incredible promise versus some pretty scary potential peril. What's so great about this slide is how it just lays out the two sides of the same coin. I mean, the benefits, they're obvious. Ultimate convenience, right? Or imagine getting instant access to medical records in an emergency. On the other hand, the concerns are just as real. You've got privacy risks, you have health risks like infections. They've even seen links to tumors in animal studies. And then there's the big one, the fear that this tech could be used to control people. And look, this isn't just a bunch of people on the internet worrying. The American Medical Association, the AMA, weighed in on this more than a decade ago. They saw the potential, sure, for identifying patients, but they raised a huge red flag about protecting the information. So the question becomes, even if the tech works perfectly, can we ever be 100% sure the data is safe? Okay, so we have this whole debate raging about implants that are permanent. But what if permanence itself is the problem? And what if that problem was about to be solved? This is where the story takes a massive turn into a whole new world of electronics that are designed not to last, but to simply disappear. Think about it. Every single implant we've talked about so far is made of glass and metal and silicone. They are built to stay in your body forever. If you want it out, you need a doctor and a scalpel. They are permanent.
But the next wave, the technology that's coming next, it's built on a totally different idea. What if an electronic device could do something vital inside you and then just dissolve, like it was never even there? This is the world of bioresorbable electronics. The concept is, well, it's a total game changer. The best way to think about it is like those dissolving stitches you get after surgery. But imagine if those stitches were also sophisticated sensors monitoring you, sending data wirelessly, and then just harmlessly melting away. It's a complete shift in how we think about this stuff. So how does this magic actually work? Well, researchers have made these tiny, flexible sensors that can track really critical things, like the pressure and temperature inside your brain after a serious head injury. They're made from stuff our bodies already know what to do with, like silicon and magnesium. But the secret ingredient is this special coating, a polymer called PLGA. By changing how thick that coating is, they can control exactly how long the device lasts. And once its job is done, poof, it's gone. No need for a second risky surgery to take it out. But wait, it gets even crazier. What if we could take this one giant leap further? What if these electronics weren't just dissolvable, but were actually edible, made from stuff you could literally find in a kitchen? It sounds absolutely wild, but scientists are really doing this. And the process? It's almost like baking. They take isomalt, which is just a sugar substitute. They heat it up till it melts, pour it out, and press it flat. What you're left with is this smooth, sugary wafer that becomes the foundation for building a real electronic circuit. And here it is. You can see it for yourself. On the left, you've got the sugar-based wafer looking all solid, and on the right, that's the same wafer after just 10 minutes in water. It's almost completely gone. This just shows you how fast and how safely these materials can just break down and disappear. Now, of course, making working electronics out of stuff you can eat is a massive challenge. This table kind of shows you the trial and error that's happening right now. Scientists are trying all these different designs for basic parts, like inductors, from simple flat coils to complicated 3D spirals. And each one has its own pros and cons. They're trying to find that perfect recipe for tech that's both effective and, well, digestible. So with all this mind-bending new science on the table, we have to go back to that original debate, because this new technology forces us to completely rethink what an implant even is and what it could be for. Okay, I want you to just look at this number for a second. Just the number 8. What could that possibly have to do with anything we've talked about? Get this. The materials these new chips are made of are so safe, so biocompatible, that the amount of magnesium in about 8 of them is the same as your recommended daily allowance. They don't just not hurt your body. They're literally made of the same stuff our bodies need to function. Which brings us right back to the beginning, but with the twist. We started by asking if you'd implant a key in your hand, a question of convenience. But what if the question was completely different? What if an implant wasn't about convenience, but about healing? If it could monitor your brain or deliver medicine exactly where it's needed and then just vanish without a trace, would that change your answer? That's the future we're heading towards. Thanks for watching.